I thought the way I thought and decide if I agree with the thoughts I have or if I change my decision. But so that lady, she's not an ugly lady, but she's clearly in her mid-30s, and she does not have a wedding ring. And she also doesn't train with any dude. So either she has a boyfriend who doesn't train with her, or she's single in her mid-30s. Just like, I don't know if I should put her name out, but
Mm.
that bitch was single in her mid-30s. Not a great state to be in, I feel like.
I hate having her as our only example of single in her 30s because she was also like not actively looking for anything, and when she did remotely have anything, she was kind of fucking insane.
But anybody, I feel like, I feel like it's rare because I never know anybody that's single, but I'm pretty sure it is rare statistically.
I think there was some study about if you're single, if you don't have a long-term relationship before 24 or 25, you like reduce the chance by a lot to be in a long-term relationship ever.
Um, so about 60 to 65% of ages 35 to 39 are married, but
35 to 39.
single, it doesn't have any statistics on single, it just says unmarried. It says about 40% are unmarried, but that doesn't mean that those people are single.
Right.
So I would say probably half of those, at least half of the unmarried group are in a
Have
relationship
some kind of partner,
that could
yeah.
lead to a marriage. So then you're talking about maybe 20% of that population. So let's go up a little bit and say maybe a third of people from 30 to 40.
Right.
So yeah, let's say a third. That's a lot for it to us to never see it. But also you got to think about how many people don't go outside. Like I feel like if you go out and you do things, you're more likely to be in a relationship than if you're sitting inside all day.
Um, I don't know, because what about
You
like,
don't know how the fuck are you gonna find a relationship if you're not leaving your house.
yeah, I
You have a
guess.
Discord girlfriend.
I was gonna say, what about like the people who like go to bars and all that stuff? Like they're like when it's like, oh, girls' night, dudes' night. Like I feel like there's a lot of hookups within that aren't relationships.
I don't think so at 30 years old.
Oh yeah, that's
When you're
true.
in your young 20s, and most of those people, let's be honest, still in a relationship. The
That's
dudes I
also
know
true.
that are part of hookup culture also have a girlfriend, or two, or three. And the women I know who are in hookup culture also had a boyfriend, or two, or three.
That's true.
I feel like if you're in hookup culture, you also have a side, you have a main piece, a side piece, and then you have random hookups. Like, I feel like the more sexually active you are, the more likely it is you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or will have one like soon. Like those people that are in hookups, they also have like, even if it's not a, oh, we could get married eventually relationship. It's one of those relationships where it's like, yeah, this is just a guy I talk to,
I like hanging out with
occasionally.
him.
We're
Yeah.
cool. We're not dating. We see other people, but and then they hang out like twice a week. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so you don't have a relationship, I guess, but it really is a relationship. You're hanging out with them twice a week. You still have somebody that you can talk to and do like. I want to know what it's like to be just like single, like because the incel movement is like wildly growing and like loneliness is like wildly taking over. Where like people today say they have less friends than they have in the past, like to the point where there are more people without a single friend or with only one friend now than ever has been. Technically, we would classify as only having one friend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The only difference though, I will say between me only having one friend and a normal person only having one friend is I'm forced to interact with a lot of people because all I do all day is talk to people.
Yeah.
So I'm forced to interact with people. That's veteran parking.
I know.
Oh, this motherfucker a veteran?
Yeah, I have to go out of my way to talk to people.
Yeah. See, you only really talk to me, and then if you want to talk to other people, you have to like actively go talk to people. But me, I'm forced to talk to people whether I want to or not. which is honestly annoying for me because I'm a super introvert and I don't like talking to people. But it's probably good for my mental health, I imagine. I don't know. But like, there's a lot of people, like, if you work a computer job from home and you don't have any friends, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta play fucking online video games and try and fucking find friends, or you gotta go out. Like, because also our generation, I'll even say for like, I think even like people in their like young 30s, like, because a lot of the 30-year-olds don't have that much different lives than us. That's why we get along with so many like 30 or young 30-year-olds. I feel like a lot of the young 30-year-olds also aren't going out and meeting anybody, especially. But our generation, like, we don't really go out a lot. There is a bar culture for some, but it's like kind of fringe.
Yeah.
I feel like hookup culture is looked at the same way as like peptide culture. Like the same amount of people that use peptides are fucking in hookup culture. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
like,
true.
because we even call it hookup culture. That's right there is a to show you that it's not a normal thing to do. Because we wouldn't call it anything if it was just what you do. Because back
Yeah.
in the day, they wouldn't have called it hookup culture. They would have called it being young. That's what
Yeah.
they did when they were young. They
Going
went to
out.
bars, then they hung out, and then they did whatever. But nowadays, it's like you're fringe if you do that. And a lot of people don't want to do that. Like, a lot of people are like anti hookup culture.
Someone was, I don't know what they were trying to get at in my Instagram DMs, talking about something like this, like the young people, like this generation, I guess, relationships are based off of vibes, and something about, but if you're in a relationship, it's an exchange of services to some degree, but everyone wants to ignore that and pretend relationships are just built on vibes. And I was like, I don't know what you're trying to get me to agree or say. You'll find what you're looking for. Goodbye. But I was like, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who are just like, oh, if it doesn't have, like, you know, they'll find me when they find me. Like, no, if you're not going outside, they're not going to find you.
From what you said, that doesn't sound like what they were saying. It sounded like what they're saying is similar to what I say, where I say a relationship is a contract, and both parties have to hold up their end of the contract, and that real relationships aren't built on emotion. And too many people nowadays are willing to throw a relationship away because, oh, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
Which,
he was
what the
saying
fuck
some
does that
other
mean
things
about these
that
feelings? Like,
it was weird, but I get what you're saying.
yeah, like, I don't understand this whole concept of like, oh, it doesn't feel right. Oh, I don't feel the way I felt when we first started. Yeah, of course you don't feel the
It's
way you
called a
felt
honeymoon
because,
phase.
yeah, well, yeah, because you've learned who this person really is, and they've learned who you really are. They're not trying to impress you with every single thing they do anymore. And you could go jump to the next thing, but the same thing's gonna happen every single time. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference between, oh, I don't feel right, or he or she makes me feel bad about myself. That is a different thing than just like, oh, the spark is gone. He doesn't buy me flowers all the time anymore. He doesn't, he doesn't do these small things to impress me. I guarantee you, you're not doing the things for him either, or the other way around, however you want to look at it. Gender roles bullshit, but either way, they're not. You're not impressing them the same way, and they're not impressing you. But that's not what the point of the relationship is. The point of the
Yeah.
relationship is basically, in my opinion, you should have a goal in life. Whatever your goal is, who gives a fuck? But you have a goal. Does that does that person help push you towards that goal? Or are they neutral? Or are they dragging you the other way? If they're dragging you the other way, you should cut them off right now. If they're neutral, you should ask them to help drive you towards your goals, as well as you should be helping them drive towards their goals. And if you two can do that, and you can come together and you can drive towards either the same goals or two separate goals, but you're both assisting each other with each other's goals, then that's the point of the relationship. But if they're not helping you with your goals, and they're also not willing to help you with your goals, or they're actively making it harder to work towards your goals,
Yeah.
then you need to find a new relationship. But I don't understand this entire thing of like the feelings. I could care less about how someone makes you feel. That's not the purpose of a relationship. Because
Well,
a person that makes you feel great, yeah, that's gonna last a year, 2 years, and then you're not gonna feel great anymore. Or the first time you'll have a conflict, guess what? Those emotions are gone.
yeah. I think there is like there needs to be some form of feel good in the beginning because that's why you're interested to them. But
I mean, maybe for someone who has emotions.
yeah, I guess.
I also guess I can't really relate to this with my autistic ass not being able to understand emotions. But I mean, because to be honest, I don't really feel emotions all
I
that
was trying
well.
to think. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard you been like, oh yeah, that person makes me feel good. You're like, that person had something I wanted.
Yeah, I only communicate with people who are going to help me towards my goal. If you're not helping me towards my goal, I'm not going to talk to you. Now, sometimes I get a little off track and my goals get a little weird. So that's why sometimes you talk to people you probably shouldn't be talking to. But that is how I do things. I talk to people that are going to help me with my goals. Because truthfully, I don't see the purpose of talking to someone you're not going to get something out of them. It's an exchange.
Even if what you get out of them is joy and companionship, that is acceptable for some cases.
Sure, I mean, I don't understand that, mainly because I don't feel those feelings very well, but I mean, everything I look at is more like, it's like quantitative, like you can see how they assisted me. Sometimes I talk to people, but see, sometimes it's like, you gotta play 3D chess. Like, for instance, you should appease your mother-in-law because appeasing your mother-in-law makes your wife happy. Your wife being happy means she'll do more of what you want her to do. So therefore, you should make your mother-in-law happy to make your wife happy.
Okay. Yeah.
But you have to be able to understand why appeasing someone may assist you, because you got to think a couple steps ahead. But I truly only speak to people when I can get something out of them. I mean, I know that sounds bad. People are gonna be like, "Oh, he's a manipulator. He's a user." To be honest, please go ahead and explain to me one time you've ever spoken to someone or done something for someone when you weren't doing something for yourself. Because even charity is for you. You do charity because it makes you feel good. If it didn't make you feel good, you wouldn't be doing charity. So I doubt you can find a single time you've ever done something for someone else and it wasn't actually just for you.
You're just saying you don't have the feeling aspect of it. Like you understand people can do things to feel good or to
I understand that.
feel
I don't do that.
Right.
I've tried that. I thought charity would make me feel good, and it didn't really work.
Which scenario are you talking about?
When I gave the lady
That's what I thought
the
you were
money,
talking
I
about.
was like, this should make me feel good. I mean, I didn't really think about it in a way of this should make me feel good. I thought about, so the situation is, we were at dinner.
Context.
And the lady had her kid. She was the waitress, and her kid, and what I'm assuming is her boyfriend, and the rest of her family were at the diner, and obviously she's working because she needs money. I'm assuming.
I think that was what, Thanksgiving?
Yeah, she's
On
working
Thanksgiving
and because she needed the money. I'm assuming. And I felt bad, and also it reminded me of my mom working fucking when 12-hour shifts when we were young, and obviously she needed the money. So I was like, you know what, I'll give her a big tip. So I did, and then when I went home, all I thought about was like, okay, now I'm short this money, and I mean, I had the money to give, but also I was just, it felt like a waste of money because my mathematical brain just kicked in. It was like, so why did we do that? And then I was also like, I don't even know if she needed the money. Like, because I never saw her actually, like, benefit from it. So I also didn't feel like I necessarily did a good thing. So I had to try and convince my brain, like, yeah, you did a good thing. But at the same time, how the fuck do I know I did a good thing? I don't know. That's the same when people are like, yeah, I give food to the homeless. How do you know he's homeless? He could be scamming you. And then people are like, well, you just have to let God take care of it. Well, I don't believe in God, so what am I letting take care of it? The universe?
Oh my God, that's what I was gonna say. Because you said God, and I remembered the video of the woman being like, "Oh, I'll pray for you" to the old man, and then the person behind her gives him food, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's because I prayed for him." And it's like, no, it's because the person behind you gave him food. But I'm on Facebook, and in this group, there are occasionally moms who post like they need help with XYZ. Mom posted that, and someone commented, "Oh, I wish I could help." And my brain was literally like, then why'd you comment?
That was stupid.
All you did was now you can tie your name to being like, wish I could. You didn't do anything.
I would help people if they asked me for help. Like, I haven't never been opposed to someone asking me for help and I help. But also then in my brain, the problem is because I'm very, very analytical. So like if I give you money if I give you a large amount of money and I'm thinking, okay, this person should be grateful for this money because no one else is going to give them this money. And then they aren't grateful. Well, that's the only time I'm ever giving you money. And then that's just how I feel. Because and someone could be like, well, you were supposed to do it because you have the money to give and it was charity. But why? Why would I give you money and you're doing nothing for me?
Or even, or even doing the opposite. Not even, like, you can be neutral, you can be grateful, or you can be, I don't know, the opposite of grateful.
Because you don't even have to do anything for me in the sense of like, oh, I'm only going to pay you if you like physically do something but at least be grateful for the money. But also, I would never want a handout. So maybe that's another problem. It's like I look at this charity as a handout, and I would absolutely never accept a handout. Like, even if I was poor as fuck, maybe from my family, and that's it. But even then, I don't even I doubt I could even take a handout from them because, like, say I didn't have money and we were staying with your mom, I would be doing everything around the house because you're letting me live here free. I'm gonna do all of the chores around the house. Why should you or your husband have to do any of the chores when I'm living here rent free? I'll just mow the lawn, do the dishes, clean the fucking floors. I don't care. Because I can't just be like, yeah, I'll just stay here rent free. This is what she should do. What?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel in my brain, it's a give and take. Like, you have to, if you're giving something, if you're taking something, you have to give something. Like, I can't see I don't really understand a world where it's like, oh, I'll just take care of you just because. What? Why? Maybe if I had a child,
right?
I'd
unless
feel
it's
different.
like they can't.
Like, specifically a child.
But even then, you get the argument of children provide different things. They provide like emotional or.
But I think even if I had a child, like in the sense of like, okay, an 8-year-old, yeah, well, what the fuck? Oh no, actually, even then, because some parents give like allowances for just existing. Hey man, an allowance is payment for chores. They should do chores and then they get paid. There's no shot I'm giving my kids just money for no reason. I will feed you and shelter you and clothe you because it is my legal obligation to do so. But you will do the chore. Like, and that's not that crazy of a concept because the original, like, if you look back like 200 years ago and the times of agriculture, hey, you just had a lot of kids because you needed farm hands. And those kids at like 5 years old were running the farm. I mean, you're fucking working 12-hour days at 5 years old working the farm. So I don't understand this whole concept of like, I think this is where the concept of all the trophy kids and the participation trophy kids and all the I deserve this. Like, what do you deserve? You deserve nothing. You are guaranteed nothing and you deserve nothing. You live in one of the greatest countries ever created. Now, whether you fuck politics, let's not get into that, because no, I don't like the fucking orange bastard in charge either. But this country is one of the only countries with the freedoms it has. And you know that because what other countries are you going to compare it to? Fucking other top 10 contenders. You're not going to be like, well, in India, okay then. If you're not going to compare it to a third world country, then you already know you are better off than half the world. You're not going to compare it to a single country in South America. You're not going to compare it to a single country in Africa. You're not going to compare it to a single country in all of Asia. The only countries you can compare it to are islands like New Zealand, Australia, and countries in Europe. Fucking Greece. Like, sure, you can compare it to countries like that, but also go back 100 years and those countries weren't what they are.
Yeah.
Go back 100 years and our country was better than it is now in some ways. There was fucking... Well, no, there wasn't slavery 100 years ago, but there's still a lot of racism.
What was 100 years ago?
We found that out in
1926. I think there
it
was
ended
still
in like
segregation.
1862.
Right.
1926. Yeah, there's probably segregation. I think Brown versus Board of Education was like 1940.
Right.
Let's give it a guess.
And women still couldn't vote or own property.
There's a lot of problems, but I'm just saying the country, like, financially was better off. The country itself was better off. The issues were worse. The issues now are the issues now are just so small. Not small, but small in the sense of, like, one guy not being able to fucking pay all of his bills is so much different than an entire class of people being discriminated against.
The issues now are issues because we have time for them to be issues.
Well, not all of them. I mean, there's still discrimination and stuff like that. It's just not comparable to back then either. But also the financial fucking... You can pay a house off in 3 years with a fucking regular ass salary. That lady has 6 kids. Was it 4 or 6? It was a lot.
I think it was
a
4. 4 is not a fuck ton. You know what is a
fuck
fuck ton?
They were all in the same age group, bro. She was popping them out left and right.
Bro, when I was walking...
Hold on, we have to give a guess on when we think fucking Brown versus Board of Education was. I said 1942.
65.
54. Who's closer?
What did you say?
You're 11 years off, and I'm 12 years off.
Haha. I'm 1 year closer.
I bet you if I made you guess first, your year would have been absurd.
No, you want to know how I got there? I was thinking about how recently, well, within the last few years, I have no idea when, I saw a post about the first black girl who went to an all-white school turned like 80 or something. And I was like, okay, well, what's 80 years ago from right now? And then guessed around there. I didn't say it was correct math. That's how I got there, though.
Anyway,
so no, back to the children. When I was walking the other day, there was a big white van that parked outside the trail. Out popped blonde dad, blonde mom. Cool, no big deal. Blonde mom grabs super blonde baby. Makes sense. They had 7 children. And the oldest could have only been like 14. And the youngest was being like a few months old.
Did the white van have windows?
Yes, it did. It looked like the black Sprinter van, but it was like a family travel van that you would see on TikTok.
Through the windows?
Yeah.
Oh. Thought they maybe kidnapped someone.
No, and they were all bright blonde.
Maybe they're Nazis.
That's not what I was saying, but it was just weird. I was like, you have 7 littles coming out of this van.
They're trying to create the master race on their own.
I don't know.
I don't really understand. I mean, I guess if I researched it, maybe I could find out. But I don't understand why specifically blonde hair, blue eyes.
When he didn't even have blonde hair?
Yeah, also he was a Jew.
I didn't...
By his own statement.
Oh.
I think it was like a Jew on your mother's side. If your grandmother on your mother's side was Jewish, then you were a Jew, and he was a Jew based on that definition or something like that.
And he just like didn't.
And then he like persecuted the Jews.
Or...
I like how like, because the state of Israel is doing all types of corrupt fuck shit, all these people are just like, yeah, and Hitler was right. And then it's just like, that shows me that you have a third grade education.
Yeah.
You just went from, because the Jews are, well, it's not even the Jews, because specifically Netanyahu and the country of Israel is doing fuck shit, that must mean that in Germany, in fucking, oh, let's give another guess.
Oh, God.
World War II?
I have no idea.
66? 64? 64. I'm going 64.
I'm going with your guess will be more accurate than anything I can get, so 63. Wait, what'd you say, 64? I'm going to go 78.
78? What the hell did you just say?
Yeah.
39 to 45. Wow.
Wow. I guess that makes sense. Wasn't the 70s and 80s hippies? And I don't think hippies were really World War II time frame.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was off a little bit there. That was bad.
What was it?
45 or some shit like that.
When was segregation? Or Brown v. Wade? Brown v. Board?
54, I think. Vietnam War was in the 60s. That makes sense. And then the hippies were the anti-war movement in the 70s. What the hell were we talking about? How they were bringing back the... Oh, yeah, I don't get the master race thing, like why blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't... Like, that's not really anything specific, to be honest. That's just like a weird thing. If he had been like... Well, actually, let me not do that. But just like why... What about blonde hair, blue eyed people makes them any better than anybody else? Can we get like actual benchmarks? Can we be like, you have to bench 300? If your grandfather couldn't bench 315 pounds, down you go. Like, then it'd be like, okay, we're breeding like actual like strength into this. But like, you're just like, oh. Or like if your grandfather was like a class system in India makes so much more sense to me. Or like, I think there's a class system in North Korea too. But like, that makes more sense to me than like blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing something. There's probably some information I'm missing, but
I feel like there was something to them measuring heads and noses as well.
That's also weird. You got a big ass head, that means you got a big ass brain.
Delusional.
What's the fucking... What did we say, 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they probably weren't that smart then. That was almost 100 years ago. How much of history do you think is accurate? 50%?
Jeez.
I also think it depends how far back you're talking about, because you start talking about, like... They talk about, like, oh, the ancient pyramids. Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're just guessing.
I would bet my entire life savings that whatever you say is incorrect. Or at least 70. At most you're 25, maybe 30% correct. Maybe you got 1/3 of it correct. The rest is completely wrong. Because there's just no way for you to know.
Also, are you saying history in terms of what America teaches history as, or everything written down everywhere? Because a war book is going to be different in America than in Korea.
Yeah, history is written by the victors. But you ready for my other Republican thought?
Oh, God.
When Candace Owens said that dinosaurs weren't real, everybody thought she was crazy. But also, how the fuck do you know? How do you know? I don't know if anyone's ever looked into how they reconstruct these dinosaurs and then they're like, this is what this thing looked like. They're just guessing.
Yeah.
They just kind of construct some bones. Also, they have to guess what the bone was.
Right.
Because they don't know the fucking animal. And then they kind of just construct the bones and they're like, this must have been what this was.
And then they assume there's no pockets of fat or anything. Like, have you seen the modern reptiles compared to dinosaur bones? And they have like pockets of fat that completely change the way they hold their bodies. Or that feathers don't fossilize, so they could have been covered in feathers like chickens.
Yeah. Well, nearly nothing fossil. Like it's the odds that you have dinosaurs correct is so low. First off, if they existed, right? Because we're talking about what, millions and millions of years ago. If they existed, which our best guess is they might have, you don't know what they looked like. That for certain. I am for certain. You probably not a single one. Maybe one time you got it close. Maybe if we went back and we drew like 1,000 dinosaurs and we looked at 1,000 that they're supposed to be, maybe one of them you got like 80% correct and you'd be like, oh shit, that's a dinosaur. The rest of them you'd be looking, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? It's not a Brachiosaurus. That's a fucking, looks like a goddamn, it looks like Kirby. Like, you would never fucking know, dude. And then all the time they're finding new shit. They're like, oh, there were humans way longer ago than we thought there were. It's like, bro, you're fine. This is what I don't like about the school system is they just tell you shit as if it was fact. I don't understand why they didn't teach us, like, this is what we currently understand to be true. Now, science changes as we get new information. Based on our best evidence, this is what we understand. Why are we just saying this is what happened?
Yeah,
And
everything
then
was
as a kid,
fact.
you have to be like, oh, okay, this is what happened. And then you're tested on it and as if it is true. What happened? This is what happened. Wrong. This is what happened. They correct you. Then you have to get it right. Okay, you finally get it right. And it's drilled into your head. Then you get to about 20, 25, somewhere between 20 and 25. You start going, wait a minute. What the fuck? All that shit they said was wrong. They were fucking liars. And then you wonder why people don't trust society. Because you fucking lied to them for 20 years.
Yeah.
How are you going to lie to somebody for 20 years straight and then go, you should trust the research? Don't do your own research. Take that fucking COVID jab. Alright. Fucking COVID jab.
COVID jab is great. Love that.
Trust the research. Even though we know for a fact, this is what pisses me off about Mike Israetel. Trust the research, but we know for a fact you can point to multiple studies that were faked because people paid for them to be fake.
Yep.
Big Sugar has faked fucking multiple studies and has been sued for it because they were found doing it. So how are you going to tell me to trust the studies, trust the research, and the research is faked? It's faked. What do you, I mean, at this point, some studies you just have to be like, well, this isn't what we find anecdotally, so I'm not going to use it. And then sometimes people don't understand because most people, look, most fucking research studies are written by college graduates or people in college at a doctorate level.
Yeah.
The average reading level, I think the quote is like 50% of Americans read at or below a 3rd grade reading level.
I thought we said it was 5th grade, but still pretty low.
Okay, let's say it's 5th grade. 50% of Americans read below a middle school reading level.
Yeah.
So how are you going to understand a college study? You're not. What you're going to do is you're going to open up TikTok and you're going to watch a guy go, this is what it says. What the fuck?
Right.
First off, even if you could read the study, you can't. So then also, you end up with these fucking studies that were done on rats, and then people are like, yeah, that works. Like all of the fucking, but see, that's not how real science works, because technically it has to do way more trials, but that is how the fucking peptide shit works. Everyone who's back to fucking peptide culture, most of the people taking peptides don't understand that you should probably wait like 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Before you start doing it, let the other people do it.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about fucking semaglutide in 2019 from More Plates, More Dates. I did not take it until 2026. 7 years later, and I didn't take semaglutide. I took Retta. Why? Because Retta is better than Ozempic because it has less side effects because it's the 3rd class of the drug. But also, I waited until plenty of bodybuilders had themselves and all of their clients take it, and you wait and you find out, okay, what happened to them. And even then, you are still not safe. You're still not safe. You're putting unknown chemicals in your body. And also, you're buying it from a black market site. So you're just assuming what you bought is what you got. Because you could have bought fucking retatrutide or fucking Ozempic. Well, unless you're getting it from a doctor, because Ozempic. But you could buy a fucking peptide, and that shit could be faked.
Yeah.
You're just putting it into your body at fucking 17 years old. Can't blame you. I did that shit when I was young, too. But don't do that. Or do. I don't care. I put random shit in my body all the time. Just know you're fucking potentially killing yourself. Back to the studies, though. Some of the studies are literally just faked, and then it's like, yeah, this medication is fine. No, it's not. Or they replace a medication. Okay, for example, fucking, trust your doctor. Hey, man, what about the opioid crisis? That wasn't even, what, 10 years ago? What is it, the Zagler family? What the fuck is their name? I don't know. But that family that fucking got everyone addicted to goddamn, was it Oxycontin? Oxycodone? Whatever the fuck. Got them addicted to oxys because they were like, hey, man, you can just take this shit and it works on everything. They were telling you, like, they were having doctors prescribe it for shit that it hadn't even been tested for. And then also just upping the dose. What the fuck are we doing? Me personally, I only take drugs that have been around for a long time.
So I learned that, I assume doctors as well, but I know they were specifically talking about nurses. In order to maintain their license, they have to take like so many credits or whatever every year, which ends up being like 2 or 3 classes, I think, in whatever online thing. But the person was saying that they don't have to take a class in the field they're working in. So you can have a nurse who's like a pediatric nurse take something, or not, no, that wouldn't be good. You know, someone who's like an ER nurse and they take something on like autism, and that counts towards their license. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily, I feel like that's not really the point of it, but okay. That doesn't really make sense. I feel like the point would be to make sure you're up to date with the newest studies in the field you're actively practicing in, but...
Well, you know my opinion on doctors, so...
Yeah.
I don't believe in having a doctor. I believe in getting your routine blood work done every... Well, I'm a bodybuilder, so every 8 weeks, but if you're a normal person, probably every 16. Get your blood work done every 16 weeks. Get a comprehensive panel, and no, I don't mean comprehensive panel as in, oh, I logged into fucking Quest Health and this is their comprehensive panel. No, I mean get every blood marker you can done, and then fucking watch for trends. And if you need someone to read your blood work, then get with like a fucking Merrick Health person and have them read your fucking blood work and explain it to you. They are doctors. There are, see, so the problem is there are good doctors and there are not good doctors. But there's so many people that do fucking independent research that just have a better understanding of what's going on with you than doctors. And the problem is also that the doctors are kind of fucked, because a doctor might get maybe, 20 minutes at most to review a case. And then they have to let your insurance has to improve anything they're going to give you. So they can't just be like, oh, you should take all of this blood work so that way we can make sure you're good. Because you're going to have a symptom to point to as to why you're getting that blood work.
Right.
So if you don't have a symptom, well, then you're not getting that blood work. But if you go out and you pay for it yourself, then you can just go get that blood work. And then if you want to, you can show your regular doctor. But also, most regular doctors, they only have like 20 minutes to look at somebody. That is also why I really like the idea of, I don't remember what the fuck they're called, but they're the doctors that don't take insurance, and they you pay for a subscription fee to the doctor, and it's usually somewhere between $200 and $400 a month. But you could basically get the lowest amount of insurance you possibly can, and then you pay for the subscription fee to this doctor, and that doctor, what they'll do is it's basically bodybuilding, to be honest, because most bodybuilding coaches, good ones, also review your blood work and make sure you're healthy. But this is an actual licensed doctor who can order certain labs for you. And what they do is they don't take your insurance, so you pay out of pocket for everything. But because you're paying out of pocket, you pay less than if you had insurance. Because when you buy something with insurance, the price is different, and it's usually 3 to 5 times more expensive. So if you got a fucking ibuprofen pill at a fucking hospital and you had no insurance, you might pay fucking, $5 for the pill. And whereas if you have insurance, they're gonna charge your insurance $50 because the insurance is gonna just pay it. And then you have to pay your full deductible, which is usually anywhere between $500 and $1,000. So their goal is every time you have insurance, they're gonna maximize all of your shit, and then you're gonna have to pay your full deductible, and you're gonna have to pay your insurance premium, which is probably fucking already for most people, what, $200 a month, maybe more, probably more actually. So you're already paying the fucking subscription fee. So I like that more just because the simple fact of they take on less clients and they give you 24/7 access to them. So if I was ever in a situation where I really needed a full-time doctor, I would probably go that route instead of going to a generic fucking doctor. Because there's so many stories of generic doctors failing where a fucking bodybuilding coach catches something. That shit happens all the time. And it's not that the doctors are stupid. It's the fact that the doctors, well, some doctors are stupid, but it's the fact that even good doctors they only have so much time and they have so many fucking clients. Whereas if you had a bodybuilding coach or a doctor like I described earlier, they only have maybe 100 clients at most. So they're only seeing 100 people in it ever. You know what I mean? So if 50 of them are coming in every 3 months, or 100 of them coming in every 3 months, you're only seeing like a person a day. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's 90 people every 3 months. That's a person a day. So you're really not that fucking, booked up. They also will specifically fight for you to get cheaper shit. And they'll also get you the shit you need because you don't have to go through insurance. So they can just order you whatever the fuck you need. Which is why I pay for everything out of pocket. Because fuck the insurance bullshit. I don't need insurance to go, oh yeah, you can't get that. Oh, you want a calcium score? Well, you're only 24. Yeah, well, I fucking jam steroids in my ass, so I need a calcium score. Can't tell my insurance that. Oh yeah, do you? Well, we're gonna charge you 10 times more for admitting that. Oh, okay, that's cool. I would go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Did I say steroids? I'm at peptides. I'm at research chemicals. How do we get away with it? Technically, you're not supposed to put peptides in you either. Those are research chemicals not intended for human consumption. What do they say?
I think they say consumption, but I don't know how that makes sense with injecting.
That's why I remember back in the day on YouTube, they used to, instead of saying they were, bro, YouTube's so crazy because back in the day on YouTube, they used to talk about, oh, my lab rat is taking, and it's like, he was just talking about injecting into his ass by saying, my lab rat is taking, and now you have fucking the Trend Twins and Togi just filling a needle on camera and stabbing it into themselves.
Yeah.
Togi stabbed a bitch that was not a non-consenting individual with a fucking needle.
What the fuck?
Also gave her drugs, like threw a fucking droplet into her mouth, and then handed Sarah Safari Anavar. What are we doing? How are you not in jail, sir? You're handing everybody illegal drugs and stabbing bitches with fucking insulin pins that are non-willing participants. All in camera.
Yeah.
Brother is crazy, dude.
I mean, the insulin syringe could be... Was it filled with anything?
I'm pretty sure he said he stabbed her with test and she was going to turn into a guy. But I think it was a joke.
Because if that one could be like, oh, well, she didn't press charges. Handing Sarah Safari
Anavar? I mean,
that's
what's
like,
she going to do? Fucking...
You recorded and posted your drug deal.
Yeah, no, he's literally, I'm telling you, he's literally taken a vial, filled it, filled the needle, and injected on camera. The Trend Twins, when they're in their gym, literally opened up their fucking bag and they were like, we got Primo, we got Trent. He's showing fucking Trent on camera. It's like, how are you guys just getting away with showing illegal drugs on camera? Just being like, this is a joke. Like, I guess it's a joke, but this is clearly not a joke. It's fucking crazy. You've gone from being able to, being, back in the day, being like, my lab rat, please don't fucking come find me, police officer, to being like, here are my drugs right here. And it's like, what? Which is why I don't understand why they don't just legalize steroids. Steroids are one of those drugs where it's like, legalize all drugs, honestly. What the fuck are we doing? I don't understand why we claim to be free, but yet we tell people what they can and can't do. I understand when it comes to harming others, but how is taking drugs yourself harming other people? You're taking the drugs for you to do whatever you're going to do, but that's not going to harm somebody else. Now, I understand, like, oh, you can't drive and be on drugs. Yeah, because then you're going to put somebody else at harm. But if you want to sit in your fucking room and fucking smoke meth, I don't care. I'm not smoking meth. I might do some fucking mushrooms or something, but I'm not going to smoke no fucking meth. But the shit is illegal, so, like, why? What the fuck is it illegal for? Fucking dumb. Alright. Hey, it's a lizard.
Lizard.
God, he's dancing. Ooh! What the fuck was that?